University of Texas.
Oh my goodness! Look at you! Look at you! You're a smarty pants.
2 Longhorns versus 1 Sooner today.
I'm all right. I'll handle it.
Brian, why don't you go ahead and introduce today's guest, please?
Yeah. So we are here today at Epoch Coffee with owner Randi Hensley, the owner and head roaster as well.
Not the head roaster.
Okay.
I roast for our retail.
Roasting for retail. Okay. Well, few things that I wanted to shout out. I mean, 19 years is pretty epic.
Yeah.
Or
epoch, as some would say.
As some would say. And then also, the roasting your own coffee, relatively new in terms of, to the 19 years. How long have y'all been roasting your own coffee?
We got the first edition of Bellwether, the type of roaster, the electric roaster, in 2020. And it was kind of something that we were going to test out. And then the pandemic happens, and it's like, okay, we have to fast track this. So since 2020.
Okay. Yeah. So 5 years in, now we've got 2 of them here. Mm-hmm. I mean, obviously, there's a lot of great coffee roasters out there in the world. But talk to me about maybe the control and the quality that you have seen now kind of handling your own coffee.
Oh, yeah. It's been such a fascinating process because I worked in the coffee industry for a long time. But you see when you're roasting that even 5 seconds, 10 seconds, we'll sample roast at different intervals.
Yeah.
And even that much can make a huge difference.
Wow.
Yeah. So we'll taste one that's just 5 seconds less time, 5 seconds more, and it makes a big difference. So there's a lot of variables. It's really fun.
Yeah, when I was looking behind me, kind of all the different parts of the world you get to find your green coffee.
Yeah.
What's that process like in terms of shopping for green coffee? And
it's really fun. We work with a couple of different importers. We were just at Serengeti last week doing a big cupping. They have a ton of coffees that they feature, and we tasted a bunch of those. We also have a partner in Colombia that we directly buy from them.
Awesome.
And that's been really fun. They're great people. And
Have you been to Origin yet?
Not yet. No,
Okay.
It's something we keep talking about. It's just figuring out the timing, because usually harvest is happening in Colombia December through February, and those are hard times to get away.
Totally, yeah. I mean, and you have how many locations now?
3.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so the first one was North Loop?
The first one's North Loop. That was 2006, and that's 24 hours. Been cranking.
I was going to say that one for me is just such a quintessential Austin shop, right? It's like 24 hours and all the entire spectrum of the city.
Oh, yeah.
Every student has spent many hours late night trying to, somehow cram for something that they weren't prepared for, and just fueled by your coffee.
Yeah, those overnight hours were my first experience with the Epoch, and that's really the start of that really cool stretch of North Loop also, I guess, coming from the west. Yeah.
Did you ever work graveyard shifts?
No, I never did. I want to say my experience of going there when nobody else was open was, I think, heading to the airport for a really early flight out, and I'm like, I need coffee right now. It's 3 a.m. What is open? And it's like Epoch is the option.
We're always open.
And it was really good too. And somehow the people who were working there were actually cheery enough, probably because they're over caffeinated working the graveyard shift.
Well,
I was very
they're night owls. They like.
I was gonna
say
because I worked graveyards. My dad was the director of security for the Hertz Corporation in Oklahoma City, and so I was a nepo baby. I got the security guard job. You can tell I'm obviously a very intimidating presence. So I got the graveyard shift at one of the data center or whatever, and it changes your clock, right? Like you become a zombie, kind of, like, in a good way. Like it's like, oh man, I'm thriving, and it's 4 a.m. and then you're sleeping all day.
Yeah.
And, I mean, that's a tough way to come into the business.
I worked the graveyard shift the first year we were open and never figured out the sleep part. So I had strep throat, I think 3 times. Mm-hmm. I was just sick and not sleeping.
Down,
I just didn't sleep during the day. So that wasn't great. But I do remember getting off the graveyard shift and going to Barton Springs right after, and then going to Kirby Lane and having like a post-shift beer at Kirby Lane at like 7:30 in the morning. And
oh man, that's not a bad way to end the shift.
Days.
Yeah, that's not a bad way to end the shift. So so you start there, and then what was it about coffee that kind of pulled you in?
Were you a student at UT when you started as the overnight barista? What were the circumstances surrounding that? I
had graduated from UT in May of 2006.
Well, you were a student at a really good time for the football program. I don't know if you were following the football team at all then. Okay,
I was not. I've never been to a single game.
What?
I know.
All right, Randy, we're going to have to change that this season.
I think my kids are also going to make that happen.
I mean, this is the season. I mean, they have arguably the greatest quarterback in college football history taking the field. So if you're not going this year, I mean, this is the year to go.
All right.
This is a Sooners fan.
I'll put it on the list.
This is a Sooners fan who is tired of the Arch Manning talk already, and the season hasn't even gotten here yet.
Gotcha.
I mean,
so anyhow, you had just graduated.
Yeah, so I graduated in May of 2006, and then we opened Epoch in July. I was already pretty obsessed with cafe culture.
Okay.
I'm from a really small town in Kansas, and then when I went to college, I was in love with this coffee shop called Little City at 10th and Congress. So cool, and the baristas that worked there were so cool, and we were drinking bottomless cups of coffee and like talking about philosophy all day long, and I just loved it. So I really loved coffee and loved cafe culture before I worked at Epoch. So, and then my love has only grown.
Yeah, I was going to say, so you get that, and then you get to actually have a hand in it.
Yeah.
Now for 19 years.
Yeah, I know. I don't feel that old, but yeah, it's been 19 years.
Yeah, I was doing the math too. I was like, yeah, that happened fast. Those 19 years 19 have been
years
quite quick.
Have zipped by. It's true.
When did the secondary and tertiary locations come? Like, I'm trying to remember. I mean, catch me up on like when did you open the next shop? What was that like?
We opened this location, the location we're in, where our roaster's at, the Anderson Lane location, in 2013.
Okay.
So there was a big gap between opening in 2006 and opening 2013. I think we all knew we had something really special and wanted to make sure that we didn't spread out too fast. So 2013, and then we opened a location at Far West and one downtown in the same year in 2016, and then had to let go of the one downtown during the pandemic.
I have to say this Anderson location, there aren't many hidden gems left in Austin, but this little area right here is such a wonderful little hidden gem. With Epoch, you have SF Bakery across the street. Even the Draft House location in the back there is a cool place to go watch a movie. And there's some other little businesses throughout this little strip center that I don't think are appreciated enough, especially by new Austinites, those who have moved here in the last, let's say, 5 to 10 years.
Yeah, totally. And Korea House, which is amazing. We have, if people don't know, there's like this beautiful koi pond behind our building where the patio is.
I didn't realize that.
It's like a little oasis out there. But yeah, it's not, it's an older complex, and it doesn't have the kind of slick, shiny things that appeal to people in Austin these days.
It's not all glass buildings.
Yeah. But it is a cozy little neighborhood, and it's also interesting because it's situated in a neighborhood more than it feels like it is. And so there are people walking here and biking here and, hanging out with their kids.
Yeah, cafe culture, you talk about it. It's like, it's like when I was starting my business, it was in a coffee shop. Like, you just like, that's what I think that's the thing I love about coffee shops is if you can just sit still for a minute and just kind of, observe, you really get to see it all.
Yeah.
the good, maybe some of the bad, a little bit of the ugly, but at the same time, it's like, it really helps you remember where you live and how many cool people are out there, and, you can have some meetings, get some work done. It's all good stuff.
Yeah, and when you're working as a barista, you kind of get the vibe for what's happening in the city. So, which I really loved. You could feel like energy shift when things happen in the world, and hold space for people in really meaningful ways. So
yeah,
I'm a big fan.
Yeah, and then you get to serve them good coffee, which is definitely something that we all need, right?
Yes. And you're seeing people like sometimes at their most vulnerable moments where they haven't had caffeine, they've just woken up. You're, for a lot of people, the first person they've spoken to in the day. And so it's really an opportunity to help shape how their day's going to be. And it feels like meaningful work to me.
Considering that you were drawn to the cafe culture, which is kind of what got you into serving as a barista at Epoch, were you naturally drawn into the art of roasting once you started working at that North Loop location? Or what was it that took you to that spot?
That's a good question. It's because it took a while actually before I had any desire to roast. And I'm roasting, I'm just doing our retail. So all of the retail coffee that's on the shelves at Epoch is roasted by me. But we also have one of the other owners. He's the head roaster and he roasts a lot. And then our coffee director is here roasting, the operations coordinator. So there's like a team of people that roast and a team of people who develop the profiles and do all the R&D for the coffees, which is really fun to work in teams like that. But I think for me, I started working in coffee actually before Epoch at a different shop, and then didn't really deep dive into the world of coffee until 2013 when we opened our second location. And there are different waves of coffee, which the coffee nerds will like go really deep into those with you.
What do you mean by that?
So there's like the third wave of coffee is how we opened up this shop. So you're focusing more on before it's more lots of syrups, lots of drink building, bigger drinks maybe with more milk, less attention to the quality of the beans and the quality of how it's made. And then you get into the third wave and we're measuring every single shot, making sure that the grind is perfect, making sure that everything is roasted perfect. It's science. And so I didn't get tapped into that world until 2013. And then once you're in that world, it is such a rabbit hole of where you can go.
There's a great book that I read about the third wave, fourth wave called God in a Cup. And it's a great book if you haven't read it. If anybody's interested in understanding, the evolution of coffee and where we are with it now, that's a great kind of starter to really explain. And this is what I love about coffee, because I was in the restaurant world, and it's like you can't drink wine every day. I mean, you can, but may cause some issues. So much like wine.
Yeah, it is.
It comes from a place that has a sense of terroir. Then, like a winemaker, there's a roaster that is putting their own palate and experience onto the coffee, and then it has to be prepared and served the right way. And so it's like so many people touch the coffee bean from growing it to then you drinking it and understanding the choices made along that way. It's just it is a very, very complex process, but it's also one that for you in a morning you can actually sit there and enjoy it and think about like, oh, what am I picking up? What are the flavors here? And it's like you can do that every day, and it usually helps. It doesn't hurt.
You guys just jogged a memory because, and I want to ask you this as well, but just that first exposure to the nuance of those heightened or enlightened waves. For me, it was in San Francisco at Blue Bottle, near where the San Francisco Chronicle was published. Probably no longer is, because newspapers are moving all around and aren't in their original locations typically. But yeah, it was this place called Blue Bottle, and it looked like a science experiment. And I was somewhat dismissive of it. I'm like, what's going on here? Like, this is all for show. But no, that was the initiation. And eventually I found myself drawn deeper and deeper into it. And I'm a big cold brew fan now, so I love seeing the different cold brew styles and just how to go about making that coffee as delicious as you guys, which, by the way, I'm having my first cup of Epoch cold brew ever, and it's up there with the best. And
I drink it every day.
Other styles like that, too. And I started drinking cold brew as a result of, one, being a black coffee fan, but also wanting to find something that was a little bit lower acidity. And cold brew certainly fits that bill when it's made correctly. Sometimes they pour brewed coffee over ice and are calling it cold brew. We're not going to go down that road because that'll just get me frustrated. But I say all of that, I guess, to ask each of you if you had that moment or that initiation into those additional waves that you saw a science experiment playing out in a coffee shop or something else that happened there.
Yeah, I mean, I think I've had that experience a few times with coffee, which is what keeps it interesting and keeps it fun. So even last week, we tasted a Sumatran coffee at Serengeti that was delicious and kind of like changed my perspective about what the flavor profiles of Sumatrans are sometimes. But I also had an experience like that in San Francisco. We worked in 2013 with Ritual coffee roasters there, and they're so good and so knowledgeable, and they were so generous with their time. And we went out to San Francisco, and we went to Blue Bottle, and we went to all of these different cafes and toured their roastery and kind of deep dived with them, and it was really fun. It was very eye-opening. And then even like Wild Gift here locally, they have a Guji, an Ethiopian bean that is so good. And
Gucci?
It's called Guji. Yeah.
Okay.
It's a really special coffee, and so it's like such a treat to get to cup that with them and taste that. So I just feel like when you're in the coffee world, there's a lot of things that are happening that are exciting and dynamic and changing all the time. And part of the challenge or the balance to get right is to read the room a little bit and see, okay, who are the customers that like want to go on that deep dive with you, and who are the people who just want to come in and get their coffee and be kind of left alone and
a tasty sweet latte. That's all they want.
And to appeal to all different people and to not make it snobby and to make it accessible to anybody who wants to come along. That's kind of what we're trying to do at Epoch.
That was my way in, was the iced latte at Medici on Westland. I'll admit this.
Wow, what are we about to admit here?
I don't need to admit anything. People understand. I mean, I'm a redneck from Oklahoma, so I really hadn't had coffee, properly prepared good coffee, until I moved to Austin. I was working in Asti. Emmett would be pulling his shots from Texas Coffee Traders. You pull a good shot the right way, it's a good cup of coffee, gets you through the shift. And so I started kind of just like, okay, like obviously getting trained, you got to know how to pull a shot. So learning that. And then that was happening while the wine education was happening. And then, it's like Medici had the Scotsman ice, the crushed ice, the Sonic ice. Yeah. So for me, I was like, oh, okay, Sonic ice, that's going to be good. And it was like, 50-50, like milk and coffee. And then I put a raw sugar in it, and it was just this tasty treat. But it got me in. And because Medici actually was using good coffee, you could start to kind of understand that flavor. And then all of a sudden it's like, okay, it doesn't need the sugar. Okay, it doesn't need the milk.
Yeah.
Okay, it doesn't need the ice. Okay, now I'm just drinking black coffee, well roasted. And so then when Houndstooth opened down the street from Fino, I got sucked into that world. Yeah. And then now I won't go on a trip. Like when we were up in Vancouver, like I go to Sprudge, which is a great coffee website. And I look at like, okay, third, fourth wave shops in any city, go there. And like you said about the barista knowing the pulse of the city, I tell everybody that. It's like, well, where are we going to eat? It's like, well, let's go talk to the barista and see where their friends work, because it's like the best chefs, the best servers, the best wine people go to the best coffee shops during the day.
That's right.
And so then those relationships form, and then it's like, oh, okay, well, here's a list of my favorite restaurants. It's like, oh yeah, this is the best pho in Vancouver, and it comes from a coffee connection. So it's like, that's the through thread. Is it anybody that thinks about what they're tasting typically is going to a good coffee shop, and vice versa. The good coffee people know exactly where all the best restaurants are. So that's my hack. That's my travel hack, is find a coffee shop near the hotel that is, and it's easy to tell. You can even look at the website. It's like, do they roast their own? Do they, look at the machine, look at some of the things, the choices they've made. Go in, have a coffee, chat them up. Next thing you know, you've got the 4 reservations you need for your dinner.
Well, nearly every place now, you can even go to small towns, nearly every small town included has at least one decent coffee shop now. It just may take a little bit of effort to find it.
Oh yeah, no, we were up in LaConner, Washington, small little town. There's this amazing bakery there called Bread Farm, and it's like you pop in, it's like great pastries, really good coffee, right around from Taylor Shellfish. I was like, oh, thank you. And yeah, you can find it. But if I'm going to a place that I know may not, then I've got a banker's box, and I put, the grinder, and I put, I put my whole travel kit. And my wife and kids roll their eyes. They're like, really? And I was like, well, you say that, but it's like, you drink it when I make it. Like, you want it too, so don't hate the player.
What are you brewing with when you're traveling?
Typically a Chemex, just like simple plastic Chemex, but from time to time, like I've got an AeroPress. Like I'll mix it up a little bit depending on how much gear I want to take. I've actually, the nice thing about, again, roasting your own and good coffee is if you have just a really good roasted coffee, ground for drip, you can use any of the, Mr. Coffees or whatever. And it's like, it's about the coffee and the water. Like, I'd take the little, like, are they called, they might be called third wave, like these little,
third wave water
that add minerality to distilled water at a somewhat right level, so that when it pulls through the coffee, it's pulling what you want it to. So yeah, water matters. Water really matters. You might be
more of a coffee nerd than I am, actually.
Yeah, I know, seriously.
Because I will drink coffee from a gas station when I need to.
I can't do it.
I'll just do it.
I can't.
When I'm at a gas station and the options are coffee or Diet Coke, and I never drink sodas, I'm like, I got to go Diet Coke here. I have no idea how long this coffee has been sitting out for.
I won't drink Starbucks. I can't do it.
I can't either, because it's too roasted.
Yeah.
It's too roasted.
Yes, it is. It's entirely too burnt. Even their medium roast tastes overdone. Yeah. But let me ask you this, though, based on that, because sometimes you find yourself in that emergency situation where you go into a coffee shop, doesn't look like the best place necessarily. They do some of the basics. Do you have that order that you go with to try and ensure you're getting the best cup of caffeine to go?
I just add cream and sugar. That's the trick. It's like I never put sugar in my coffee, but if I'm at a place like that or I'm drinking gas station coffee, it's cream and sugar.
Well, and the fat and the sugar also enhance the caffeine, especially if you're never consuming the cream and sugar with your coffee.
Oh,
it actually has a positive benefit on the energy that you're getting from that.
Well, and I'll go,
I go Americano. I'm just
I'll go Americano simply because I think too oftentimes in those questionable shops, right? It's like, how long has that drip been sitting there?
Yeah.
Or is it just sitting on a hot plate?
Sour espresso that's not dialed, so bad, or a shot that's pulled too long. So, but my favorite thing to do, if I go to other coffee shops, which I do often, because first of all, Austin has so many amazing coffee shops. It's such a good city for coffee.
Very fortunate,
And then when I travel, that's my favorite thing to do too, is like, where do you drink coffee? But I like to drink a drip coffee, even at specialty shops, because it's almost like getting a cheese pizza at a slice of cheese pizza. You can tell like how much attention is this by the most basic thing. And sometimes I feel like drip is overlooked in this way, that I really like to see what people are up to.
Yeah.
And then my staff will tell you a lot of times, I'm like, let's order one of everything on their specialty menu just to like taste all of it. Because people are doing really cool stuff. Like Mercado Sin Nombre right now, they have a really cool specialty menu. Kind of everywhere in town has interesting, very creative drinks they're trying.
The nice thing is that much more so now than ever, good coffee has finally made its way to, like you said, even the small towns.
But coffee culture has what feels like its own pompousness at times. For instance, there was a story, I want to say it was from about a decade ago. It may have been a little bit more than that. And I want to get your input on this, Randy. It was the most expensive cup of coffee on the planet. It came from beans that were harvested from animal dung.
Yeah.
Sounded disgusting. Obviously, they're washed very well before anything else is done with them. would you pay, I think it was like $100 for a cup of elephant dung coffee?
No, I would not pay $100 for a cup of coffee.
Just in general?
In general,
yeah.
as on principle.
Yeah.
So no. Although okay. I do think there's some interesting questions there about like our perception about cost of coffee, and how much we're used to it costing and how much it actually should cost. And
oh, really?
Not in that exact case.
Yeah, but, right.
But just in terms of like what are the conditions at origin? How much are the farmers making? And people's perception is that coffee, you know, should be kind of a cheap thing. You're drinking it every day. You come in and get a cup. But really, I think we need to start grappling with we don't pay enough for coffee.
You know, it only grows in a certain, you know, band between the tropics in the world, you know, and now that's changing, you know, because of temperature changes, things like that, right? So Starbucks has got tons of coffee fields in mainland China, like that are like emerging farms where they know how much coffee they're going to need and they're trying to build their own.
I don't trust Starbucks North Dakota coffee though.
Yeah, no, but I'm just saying it's like, you know, over time it may be that some of the growing areas change.
Yeah.
But anytime you have a product that comes from a particular part of the world and you're not in it and you're not close to it, like you said, it's like who's working those farms? How are they being compensated for their efforts? And it runs up and down the chain. Yeah,
100%. And the specialty coffee industry in particular is, for something to be rated specialty coffee, you know, those beans are almost all handpicked. So there's a human being, you know, picking the beans.
It's part of the cost.
Yeah,
and how do you take care of the entire ecosystem?
100%. Obviously, that's something I think about a ton in terms of the cafe level with the baristas who are working here. Like, can they afford to live close to the shops? Can they afford to have a good life? You know, be able to go to these restaurants, have health insurance, all of this stuff. And then when you start like breaking that down the chain, it's expensive.
Yeah, well, it goes back to what we've said on the show before, Trey, and that is, you know, and it was good that so many of these documentaries about, you know, food and coffee and wine or whatever try and put this out there, but it's like every dollar matters. So you vote with your dollar matters where your dollars go. You know, you're supporting not only a business, you're supporting the people in that business, and oftentimes you're supporting people down the supply chain. And, you know, so it matters. So you got to think about it a little bit. And of course, you know, everybody's on a budget. You know, it's hard sometimes, but it's like splurge sometimes for that really interesting coffee that somebody's roasting.
So let's talk a little sports now, Randy, because you are wearing a Philadelphia Eagles jersey. Congratulations on that most recent Super Bowl championship.
No, we're not talking about that anymore. Jalen's not even wearing the ring. We're done.
They're moving on next season.
He is so Saban. Like Saban broke his brain.
Well, like, it's ironic that Saban hated him and basically forced him out like he did, because he is the perfect Saban type of player where he's on to that next goal. Yeah. Saquon obviously had a phenomenal season. Defense really turned things around versus where they had been for the last couple of years. And Nick Sirianni, at least for another year, doesn't have to buy a meal in Philadelphia. That can change quickly, though, with sports culture, certainly Philadelphia. But you weren't that big of a football fan until, what did you say, 5 or 6 years ago?
Well, I think less. I think, I can't remember what year it was that the Phillies and the Astros were playing in the World Series. And my husband is from Philadelphia. And he hasn't really been that big of a sports guy either, but we were really locked into this World Series because it's fun to watch the Phillies play. And
unless an old woman's behind you yelling at you.
Well, Phillies fans are intense.
Yeah.
Philadelphia.
I got in trouble. I got in trouble with a Philadelphia fan for cheering for the Phillies.
Oh. Why?
Yeah, what was she mad about?
What the heck?
I haven't told that story.
No.
Oh man, we had. Rest in peace, Johnny Courage. My buddy was fighting esophageal cancer, so I bought an entire row, surprised him with all of our friends. We came in town. We went to a Phillies Diamondbacks game, but we had more people. Like we had standing room only seats, and so we were up and down a lot. right? Because we're trying to hang out with our boy, watching the Phillies. He's a huge Phillies fan. His family was there, his 2 boys. It was a very emotional thing. And Bryce Harper hits a double off the wall, and I start standing up and let's go, because they were down. And this older Phillies woman was just can y'all sit down? And I turned around and said, typical. I had maybe had a few tall boys, but I was like, I bought this entire row. We're rooting for the Phillies. What's your problem? And we kind of had an exchange.
She sounds like a Texas fan at DKR.
It was.
Did she punch you in the face?
She was going to, but her much kinder partner said, honey, it's okay.
She just threw AA batteries at him.
Yeah. I was hot. But, again, it was Phillies fans are notorious for their passion. So obviously this sucks you into the sports world, right? So we had the opportunity. I also it doesn't really matter who's playing or what sport it is. I love to go to games because I like the collective energy of a crowd who's cheering. I like the way it feels. Then don't go to DKR this year.
Okay,
sorry.
Good tip.
No, I'm kidding.
I'm pretty down to go to any game. We had, I'd never been to an NFL game, and there were tickets available for $40 to see the Eagles play the Texans. So we got tickets, drove to Houston in one night and back, and had the best time. So
that's a cool stadium to watch a game in too.
Yeah, it was great. And also I think it was game 4 of the World Series was happening too. So where everybody's watching both games.
Energy.
The teams were playing each other. So the Phillies and the Astros are playing, and the Texans and the Eagles are playing. Yeah. So there is a lot of on
Texas
the same night.
Versus Philly energy in the world. You're tapping into that, and so you go to this game, you absolutely love it.
Yeah.
Then, is it similar to coffee? Then do you just go down the football rabbit hole and start to study stats and formations? How do you feel about the tush push?
I'm a fan of the tush push. I'll watch are they going to outlaw the tush push? And then they don't. And that's
Did you see that Shane Gillis on the ESPYs?
No.
He did a little thing about the tush push, which was really, really funny. Talking about he was a janitor and he came up with the play, and the whole team was like, "I don't think it's going to work." And he's like, "No," and it's called the tush push, and they're like, no. And anyways, it's pretty good if anybody hadn't seen it.
That was a Norm-esque performance out of Shane Gillis. He did good.
Okay, so you're a fan of the tush push, obviously.
Oh, yeah. But I'm not, you guys as actual sports fans will probably hate me saying this, but I'm more of I'll watch during the playoffs kind of gal.
Right.
I'm busy.
It's
my kids are
the
young
latte of sports. I get it. It's it's sweet. It works.
A skinny vanilla latte sports fan.
I love that though. You got to start somewhere. And when we visit you for 20 or 25 years, you're going to be an absolute animal about everything that's happened to the Eagles since.
Yeah.
But sports is a fun bonding experience for families. So your husband was a Philly guy. You're from Philadelphia, so it made sense. But you said kids plural. How many kids do you have?
I have an 8-year-old and a 10-year-old.
Oh, you and I are in the exact same tract. I've got a 10-year-old and an 8-year-old as well. 10-year-old daughter, 8-year-old son.
I've got 2 boys.
2 boys, okay. All right, good luck with you on that one. I'm the oldest of 3 boys, and I know how hard that can be. But I would assume that your sons are also really into it as well, which helps out once we do get to the playoffs, that everybody can kind of sit there and cheer for the same team.
Oh, yeah, and we usually host a Super Bowl party. So we had a Super Bowl party, and the kids were totally on board.
Yeah.
So excited. In fact, one of the manager at North Loop is a big Chiefs fan. So he bet my 10-year-old they had to switch jerseys depending on who
a little jersey
won.
swap.
So Colton, he's an amazing manager and friend, and at the end of the night he was in an Eagles jersey. That's how that goes.
Oh, I love that.
But and my youngest son is an amputee. He uses a prosthetic leg, and you make those legs with fabric, so you can pick whatever fabric you want. And his last one was an Eagles one. And when he picked it, they didn't do well the year before.
Yeah.
We were like, are you sure that's the leg that you want to go with? You're going to have this, have to walk around with this Eagles leg in Cowboy country. Yeah. And his doctor's in Dallas too, and they give him such a hard time about it.
But he reversed it.
He reversed it.
We didn't know this. We thought it was Jalen and Saquon, but no.
It's Milo. It's my son.
Milo
if you ask him, he's the reason they won the Super Bowl.
That's awesome. Yeah. Well, I'm sure, talking about not buying a meal in Philly, maybe you just need to send him up to Philly, let him eat like a king. Since, he can say like, hey guys, tell the story. I did this.
Yeah, he really should.
Yeah.
We went to Philadelphia for New Year's with that leg, and people are happy to see.
Oh my gosh! Probably got all the free cheesesteaks he wanted.
We didn't play that enough.
But they didn't know. They didn't know yet. Like we're telling the world now. So right. Philadelphia, be on notice. If Milo rolls into town next time,
just hook him up with a cheesesteak.
Check out his fabric. Make sure he's in line. And anything good happens, it's him. Anything bad happens, it's probably Sirianni.
I've never been to Philadelphia before. What do you like about that city?
Oh, it's a great city. I hadn't been there actually until I went with my husband, and so he's from there. So he's got
makes it even better. You've got a host who can kind of show you around.
Yes, he grew up there, and his brother runs a really cool art space there. So we're like doing fun things that I don't think I would do if I were just visiting Philadelphia as a tourist.
Like what?
Well, like going to these different art things and
the parks are great. Like the history, history. That was my first time when I went a couple years ago, and it's just like it's just, it's history, right? It's just like it's been around for so long. There aren't many cities, but anytime you go up to the Northeast, it's just one of those quintessential Northeast cities that just have like
Liberty Bell.
It's got the grit. I ran up the steps and did my Rocky.
We haven't done that yet.
That's a good one. Carl Weathers had just passed, so we were in our full Rocky mode, and it's just, you just drive in and you just kind of see even just how the roads are organized, and obviously if you live there, it's like, this is a mess, we hate it, it's dirty, the construction everywhere or whatever, but man, it's just like you can just see like the history and just coming in. The water, like, it's just a great spot.
I actually just had that experience in Atlanta when I was there for SEC Media Days last week. I had only spent time in the airport. I feel like this is everybody's story. Yeah, I had to spend some time in the Atlanta airport. Doesn't even begin to scratch the surface of how cool a city that is. It's got history. It has really cool, unique architecture. It's very neighborhood oriented. Went and visited MLK and Coretta Scott King's tombs. Over, I think it's east of downtown maybe, but I was blown away. Now the Atlanta airport absolutely sucks. I'm convinced it is the worst airport on the planet.
Well, I was going to say, is there a good airport?
Austin has a pretty good airport.
Austin's working on it.
Austin is working on expanding. Austin's airport is, I don't know what the experience is. Light years ahead of the Atlanta airport. The Atlanta airport is part throwback, part choose your own adventure. It is completely disorganized. Every food option is like you're in an airport in the 1980s or 90s. It's like Burger King, McDonald's, Popeyes, KFC. And
can you smoke inside of it?
Maybe. I might not have gotten there because I was only in the one terminal.
That's what I want. I want the high end airport experience. Like, can I wear a suit? Can I have a martini on the plane? Can we load on the tarmac? Like, why don't we go old school airports?
Salt Lake City, and they've changed this, unfortunately. Or fortunately, I guess, but they used to have, this would have been 15 years ago, it was like one of the last airports that you were in where you could actually smoke, but you had to smoke inside this glass enclosure. Yeah, and so everybody could just like basically shame you and wag their finger from the outside. I was not a smoker then necessarily, but I just found it so amusing that they're forced to go do this thing while everybody just gets to stare and judge them.
Well, and then you go on the plane and like now you really reek. It's not like you're out. Well, the thing, talking about the shoe shiners, now that we get to keep our shoes on, it's probably a good time to be a shoe shiner, because like part of the reason why I think the shoe shine at the airport has faded is because most people are already in their athleisure flip-flops,
true.
No shoes to be shined. So I mean, maybe we are headed back there slowly.
Back to a shoe shining world.
So the boys, do they play sports?
They like sports.
Okay.
My son, the 8-year-old, is an athlete, so he travels for he does track and field events with a group called the Endeavor Games, which is like a challenged athletes group. and he's very fast.
That's awesome.
So he does that, and then they like to play sports a lot, but they haven't played on any teams until this year. Milo's playing baseball.
Nice.
So
Excellent.
It's a whole new world.
Baseball culture is a beast.
Oh my gosh. Even one of the leagues, there were 2 practices a week, a game every Saturday. I was like, I don't know how we're going to do this. But we'll figure it out.
Robo-taxi. Just put them in a robo-taxi. But
something.
Well, but that's exciting though. It's exciting to see him out there playing it, and pretty soon you're going to be a baseball mom.
I know.
And you'll be screaming at umpires and throwing batteries, volunteer.
Exactly. I promise I will not throw something back.
What do you love about motherhood?
Oh man, I mean, it's my favorite thing I've ever done. I also feel like if I didn't really like who my kids are, I don't think I would like it, because it's so hard. There's so much to do. There's so much to think about. And I'm lucky because my kids are really great kids. They're like very funny. They're very smart. They're very kind people. So just like who they are in the world, I love and admire them. And I think if you ended up with some kids that you didn't like, it'd be like,
that sounds a little chicken. I was going to say that's a little chicken or egg, happening here. Where I think if you like yourself, hopefully your kids like you and you like your kids. But I guess it's out there. I guess sometimes you just get somebody that
sometimes you meet people and you're like,
with.
I don't think you like your kids.
Yeah, I feel like
I don't like your kids either.
Your kids are hard.
No.
I feel the same way though, and Brian, I'm sure you and Annie are similar. It's like, we feel like we've done a pretty good job, but man, we do have awesome kids. We're so thankful for that.
Yeah.
This is the Cubs fan in me, the eternal optimist. There are no bad kids.
Totally. I agree.
I look at the source.
No baby starts out as a serial killer.
That's right.
Yes, I don't disagree with that. But I also feel like my kids are interested in things that I'm interested in, and we can talk to each other. And even the things I'm not interested in, they present it in a way where I'm like, oh wow, let's deep dive into that.
I've been really working on my curiosity, right? Where it's just like, I'm not going to tell them. I'm going to ask them a question, and I'm interested in the answer because I want to understand the way they think. And maybe they don't think the way I do, and that's okay.
Yeah, totally.
That's fine. I don't need them to be little clones of me. Please don't.
One of my biggest challenges as a parent is not offering unsolicited advice, because you want to help show your kids the way. But the way to do that is to give them a basic outline and let them experience for themselves, because ultimately that's how they're going to learn, is to go through certain experiences.
Yeah, I mean, my son's an Oklahoma State fan. I can't help that.
What?
Yeah, I can't help him.
No, you can't help that.
No, I can't.
It's called the cage in the basement, Brian.
No, sometimes, he is just an Oklahoma State fan. He switched allegiances at halftime like a typical OSU fan, and that's what OSU fans do.
The story just gets worse and worse.
No, I know. And I just looked at him and I said, "You're on your own. Best of luck to you.
It's your journey.
Your sister's obviously a lot smarter than you. This has been made clear, and welcome to a life of coming up short."
You mentioned that things can be hard for parents, for kids. What do you think the biggest challenge is for parents in 2025?
Oh my gosh. I mean, my kids are really smart, and they're thinking about things happening in the world. So my 10-year-old is asking questions about nuclear war and climate change and big things that I do not have the answer to.
None of us do.
To be able to comfort him and make him feel safe while also not denying the challenges that are facing us globally is such a balance to walk, where you're I'm also really trying to always funnel that energy into positive, what can we do?
Right.
So if you're worried about nuclear war, okay, let's write a letter to your Congress people. And we went to, we go to protests and stuff like that. So like trying to funnel that energy into, or that action. Fear into action of like, you have agency, we can do things to make the world a better place. But it is
intense.
It's an intense time to be a parent, and maybe every generation of parents have always said that, but it feels particularly condensed right now. So
everything feels so accelerated.
It feels so accelerated. Yeah. So that is a real challenge. And then also,
just tell them not to worry. Our future robot overlords will eventually take care of all the problems, right?
Well, that's the other thing I was going to bring up, is that navigating technology with kids and knowing like what's where those limits are. Luckily, my kids are still like play outside kids. They want to be out on their bikes and they want to be out playing soccer with each other and, you know, whittling a stick. That's the kind of kids they are. So we haven't had to butt up against too much of the conversations about phones and screens and all of that, but I know they're coming.
Well, it's almost football season. That'll cure a lot of ills. Let's just watch football. Let's get this season underway.
Yeah. Real quick, because the last thing that we do on these episodes is get restaurant, food, beverage recs, just places that you really enjoy around town, or a place you really enjoy around town. Before that, I wanted to ask you, because your status as head of retail roasting for Epoch, is that the right way to put it?
I feel like you're making it sound more glamorous than it is.
It's very glamorous. Look at these.
I mean, it is glamorous, and I love what I do. So my title in the company is Director of Operations. So mostly I'm doing operations, day-to-day staff things, money stuff, all the things. I happen to, our head roaster he wanted to kind of drop the retail part, which I'm passionate about, actually, because I like having Epoch bags in people's homes. And
well, that's what I was going to say. At 19 years, if anybody has a friend from college that they need to send a little bit of home to, come in these next few days, grab a bag, send it to New York, Chicago, wherever your old classmate is, and say, hey, remember Epoch? Here's their coffee, right?
Yes. So I took over pretty recently the retail roasting. So if you are drinking Epoch roasted retail coffee at your house, I have roasted the coffee, stickered the bag, measured it all out. That's all done by me, distributed. And it's really actually been very fun, because so much of my job is thinking about things and planning and strategy and all of this kind of thing. But the roasting is so simple, because you do the thing, you put it on the shelf, it's there, you can see the progress, instead of a lot of the other things about my job are very incremental, and you're trying to move the needle in a direction, and it's hard to tell when you get there sometimes. So I love roasting, because it's like instant gratification. And then also, I like, this might sound cheesy or woo-woo or whatever, but I like thinking about who's going to drink the coffee, and like sending positive energy, and like, I don't know, just like good wishes in the coffee that I'm roasting.
I mean, again, it's a product. Like, I've always believed this about food, and beverage. Like, it transfers energy.
Yeah.
Like, if you see a line like in a restaurant and everyone looks unhappy, I promise you the food won't taste as good. Like, when you see a happy line, people working hard in their element, in their flow state, it tastes better. Like, it just does. And I don't know why. I have to believe that there's a transfer of energy.
Yeah. So just know that the Epoch retail coffee has a lot of positive energy and a little bit of
Phillies energy.
So I appreciate the clarification, because, and you kind of just answered my question, but I'm still going to ask it. What do you love about coffee?
I mean, to me, it's similar to food, where I like things that bring people together, and also, it's something, coffee is something I think like a lot of us are addicted to coffee. I am, and I need it every day. But then, so there's that element of it, and then also an element of real connection with people. And I like kind of what we've talked about before, where there's a process where so many different humans have touched it. It's really beautiful. And then you start to think about like, oh, there's lots of stuff like that. Like, you eat a tomato and it's like that, So yeah, I love it.
Perfect.
Why don't you set up the last question, Brian?
Yeah, I was going to say, where have we eaten recently or any of your favorite spots? I've got mine. I popped in last night to a new place called Fish Shop on East 6th.
You're in a very seafood mood over these last couple of weeks.
Well, and that was what was so great about it. So I went to Walrus and Carpenter up in Seattle, which is this great oyster bar with a ton of, it's right on the water in Seattle. And, had a similar experience at Eventide up in Maine a couple summers ago. And Fish Shop has that vibe. It's a small little spot with great oysters and clams and mussels and conserva. They had this awesome smoked mussel and this white gazpacho, saltines, a Guinness. Like it felt like a coastal little fish shop that, I mean, we've got some great seafood in Austin, but this particular kind of small vibe is something that, I don't think we have. And so it was exciting to see them. They've been working hard. Nicole and Justin are the owners. They were at Justine's for a long time, and they're out on their own, which is always scary. But it was a little soft opening. I think the grand opening is tomorrow, the 25th.
Cool.
So check it out. Very, very limited reservations. So you just pop in, wait. It's like they've got a lot of bar seating. It's just a cool vibe if you just want to grab some seafood and a Guinness, or we got some good cocktails too. But yeah, it was a fun spot.
Where is it again?
East 6th. I think 1140 East 6th. Over across the street is a place. Is it Revelry? I can't. It's right there on that East 6 corridor, kind of just as East 6
starts.
There's
a stretch of bars and restaurants.
Yeah, it's like it's before you get to Suerte, but it's on its way. So again, that whole street continues to kind of have a pretty cool urban vibe that's growing and changing, and it's a cool spot.
Randi, how about you? Restaurant, food, beverage that you and your family love to indulge in?
I mean, so many places. I feel like the place we go to most often is Mi Madre's on Manor, which is a Austin staple
classic.
To me. It's so classic. We live within, we can bike right over, so we do that a lot. But I also this is a good opportunity to shout out an organization that I love, and actually how I met Brian, which is through Good Work Austin. So it's a nonprofit that is linking together businesses who want to make the hospitality industry a better place. So most of the time, if I'm eating somewhere, it's from that list of restaurants, because I have faith that I know a lot of the business owners, but also I know that they're paying their workers a good wage, that they're interested in making the Austin restaurant industry a better place. I've been in, on those calls with them. So some of the places that I go to from there a lot are Locadoro, Bambino, Bolden Creek.
Yeah, and it's goodworkaustin.org, right?
Yeah, goodworkaustin.org. We're actually participating in a cool down campaign, which is you get this little punch card and then you can go all around the city and get free stuff from like a really great, amazing list of places. And it's also, the money goes to Good Work Austin, which is a good cause. So yeah, Oseo, Thai Fresh, like these are the places I love to go to because the food is always good, and I know that they're ethically in line with my values. And what Brian said earlier, it's like I want to spend my dollars at places that I know
that dollar does more than just go to the bottom line. It goes to everybody in the system.
Yeah, and people who like care deeply about what they're doing. So those are. I feel like I could go on and on because also there's so many good coffee shops too.
Yeah.
I love to drink coffee in the city. I love Desnudo and Mercado Sin Nombre, and then like the Better Half.
Yep.
That crew, Flitch. Fleet.
Yeah,
I mean, there's so much coffee. Once Over, Sightseer. The list goes on and on. Our coffee. I don't know if people realize how spoiled they are living in Austin and like all the different options there are for amazing.
We are, and that's a very healthy mindset also to show love to others in that space too, versus a very unnecessary competitive attitude where it's nobody else's work matters. That annoys me to no end to hear that out of people sometimes. All right, so I've had like 5 different places rifled through my head based on all the delicious spots that y'all are talking about in parts of town. So I'm gonna go one close to you and one that was in line with some of the Asian spots that you were listing. So starting where you are on East 6, Brian, Kanji is a place that has become one of 2 or 3 spots that people coming in from out of town who aren't just looking for barbecue or Tex-Mex, and don't get me wrong, I've got the places that I will take them for those sorts of meals as well. Kanji is, along with Izov, one of 2 places where I'm like, do you want to do something a little bit different that's also delicious? We'll go to Kanji and have amazing Caribbean food. They've got awesome drinks there as well. And then on the more Asian tilt, and this has been a place that I've been going to, gosh, I feel like it's 15 or so years, Corriente on East 7th. It's right down, it's literally a couple doors down from the Creek and the Cave, the comedy club right there. They serve up some of the most delicious, fresh food. They've got bibimbap that's out of this world good, and a bunch of other really good dishes as well. So those are my 2 recommendations for this week. And then I'm not recommending any other coffee shops. I'm recommending Epoch as somebody who loves a good cold brew. The first time to have their cold brew, outstanding, on par with some of the other great cold brews in this city. With that, we are through another Austin Supper Club. Randi, thank you so much for the time today. This has been a really fun conversation.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Congrats on 19 years.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.